So I've made this strange plate here, which goes like this. I mean, I should say I could have made a plate which sandwiches here and then use two gaskets. But this should work at a push. So you can see what I'm trying to do here. So that moves freely. There's an adjustable nut underneath that you can move up and down against this welded on washer. So it just moves without too much rocking. So the plan is to have a vertical here. The cable outer bolt sort of screws to that, and then the wire comes through to there. And then I need some sort of ball and socket type thing here to here. Right, this ball here for the accelerator, which goes that way, is 7mm in diameter. Assuming that's the choke, that's actually got a little thing fitted to it that you can put a cable through, which I didn't realise, because what I've done is I've had to look for the fitting, the socket that goes on there. I actually bought two thinking there's a ball there, but I was wrong, and they're not cheap. Nothing is for these engines. Turns out a ball socket, 7mm ball, is actually a rare thing. So there you go. There's two types. They're called well, if you put Stromberg rocket clip, you get one of these. Basically you can see that's designed for a cable to go in the end of it, and then the grub screw clamps it, and it looks the same as this, but it's not. This is actually a linkage bomb, and you see that one has a thread and a lock nut, and the thread for that is 1032 UNF. I think. So I think I might need it, so I got an extra nut that size. I tried to get some threaded rod like this with that thread on it. Turns out it's really hard to get, so I actually bought some slightly rusty long bolts, the correct size, which I can then make a kind of adapter out of. I also bought a generic kit with two ball joints and a threaded rod that's adjustable, because I'm going to have, so that's going to be there working the accelerator. Then there'll be a threaded part, there'll then be a join, it'll be welded to a piece of this, and then on this end of my seesaw be one of these ball joints fitted to the end of a piece of this rod, and then this end then you'll have a cable, accelerator cable. This is a 3 meter length piece of, it's a generic kit. You can see it's got the bulkhead through mount thing there, and then something here, and you cut it to length, so that should hopefully work. I've got master and slave cylinders coming for the clutch. Meanwhile, here's some pipe. Again, should be the correct fittings to fit the slave and master cylinders, but you never know till you actually try it. Well, I've been doing a bit more welding, so you've got this bracket now which holds this. So that's an adjust, the cable goes through there, and you can adjust it, the length. So the cable's coming from the front of the car, and then you can see I've welded on an upper and a lower thin piece here. And the reason I've got that drill bit in there is because this will go, so that will go in there, and then the wire goes through that little hole, and the wire comes out here and goes into there. So I've got a reasonable amount of travel. This flat plate is recessed here before I welded these on top and bottom, so it gives a little bit of room for the end of the wire to stick out through this, otherwise it's like just trapped. So that's the plan anyway. As for this end, I'm probably going to use one of these ball joints and a rod. This is the plan. Clutch pedal acting on that, pushes on this, it's got internal reservoir, fluid comes out, goes to the slow cylinder. I'm hoping this has got a round, kind of like a ball shaped end on it. I'm hoping it'll fit into a little cup in there. I need to take the rubber cover off to check, and then that will actuate the lever arm on the clutch. Might swap these over actually and use this one to go into there, because I've got some pedals. I can't remember what car's this from, but basically the idea is I just need the mechanism. You can see how this, hang on, I'll use the tripod, I'll show you. So you can see how this accelerator pedal works. Just makes life easier for me. I can use that hinge part. It's got a little rubber stop there. Pedal's probably too long and need to be shortened. So it comes with this clutch. So I'm going to saw it down here, turn it into 2 units. This is actually looking fairly promising. So I've separated the two. So here's my accelerator. So if that's fitted something like that, then that could work. The pedal would need shortening slightly, so I'll put that there. And then this is even more promising because it's the clutch, so everything's got to line up with that hole there, like that. So if that's somewhere like that, again the pedal needs shortening, but the thing is this will fit. So if that goes there, like that, it will all line up. Right, well I've trimmed away a bit of the excess fat here. So this is the accelerator pedal, so it's got the hinge, the return spring, the little buffer, a plate to bolt it up to something with, so that's good. So I've been working on the clutch pedal. So you see, got all these clamps here holding it in exactly the right position, but I haven't welded it yet. I've got 4 bolts, which makes it removable. I'll try to put some lights in there so you can see what I'm doing, but if we're going to film it from around this side, that might be better. Right, so you can see there. So I've got a plate. Again, I've trimmed all the fat off it, so I've just got the minimum. I fitted this thing just loosely to that, which is just dangling down, because I want to make sure it goes that way in a straight line. This rod needs extending a bit, but you can see that would mount up against there. The body shell should clear it, but I need to double check that. And this rod here, see, I can move it a bit that way, and then that's the midpoint, which is straight back. There, that sort of angle. That's 90 degrees to the frame. So that would suggest my pedal, just put that down for now, is not twisted, because if it's twisted and you push it, it'll sort of jam up if you're not careful. So this is a kind of packet of biscuits and 3 cups of coffee job. Just take it really slowly. But that looks pretty good to me. I can just press the pedal, it seems to move right. So what I'm going to do is tack weld there and there, but I won't weld it finally till the end. So still got the accelerator pedal and the mechanism for that to fit in, so that's the plan. But I would say that's going all right so far. Well, I've done it, so let's take the clamps off. Looks promising. Main thing is the push rod is in a straight line. My rocker mechanism on the carb goes like that, so my cable to the accelerator is actually going to go down this side of the car. So really I want it to end here with some sort of lever that pulls it, but of course I don't want to put the accelerator on with my left foot, because under the excitement I might end up pressing the wrong one. So this is going to go somewhere here, you see, like that. Then this shaft, see that? This shaft, I'm going to extend it with some tube that slips over it, widen out that hole, weld it there, just have a wider hole there that it goes through. It'll come across just in front of this is the plan. Above this, front of that, across to here. Here will be a little lever that sticks up that goes like that, and that will pull the cable, so the cable isn't doing any weird long tight loops or anything like that. There's my return spring. That might work, and it put the pedals in about the right place. I'll just give you another view of that. Let's see what I'm trying to do. So if I hold that and it's about there, okay, so you mount it on some sort of bracket. That shaft will come across here, go in front of the clutch mechanism, just in front here, across to about here, and then the lever will be there. And it should fit in the bodywork, and it'll be as far forward as I can get it. So that's the next step. I've made this strange looking thing. It's basically a nylon nut welded to an L-shaped piece of steel, and then if you see in there, I've drilled in there with a large diameter drill bit to make a kind of V-shaped depression in the base of that. And the reason is this will go this is the arm which releases the clutch, so this is going to go under there and then be welded on the left side and the right side underneath, you see, there. Right, well it's not exactly pretty, but it's not going to come off either, so here's my push rod, which I'm going to use swap for an adjustable one. Goes in there, like that. So then the slave cylinder will be just under this rail here. Right, well I've taken this apart. Taken it apart. That did go through there. I've made that hole bigger. It just accepts this tube now. So I'm going to put the tube. This is where those cheap calipers come in handy, because you just start measuring things and see if they'll fit. So I've cleaned it all up with the flat disc wheel, so I'll just tap this partially on. Of course I made a mistake there, didn't I? Oh no! Should have put that on first. How am I going to get it on now? I'll have to tap it off, won't I? Oh, that's going to be fun. I'll make these mistakes so you don't have to make them as well. Right, if I can get it off, let's have a go. Right. This is where you have to think before you just start doing things. Let's put this on this time. Let's check I've got it right. It's like that. Right, no, it's not right. Like that. There. Right, now we hammer this on. Right, see what I'm doing there. So I'll take it to about here and then I'll weld it. And then we'll have what we want, which is a pedal that with a shaft that extends out. Yeah. Right, that should do. And then I'll weld it. Right, so I've welded that, you see. The next thing is put some few washers on here, and then the outer washer, a couple of little tack welds, and then it will just hold everything in the right place. And then on the end here we're going to have a lever that turns and pulls the accelerator cable. Right, so you see I've put 2 washers on there, and the outer one I've tack welded. So we've got pivotiness there. Right, well I drill a hole there and the same on the other side, and I've plug welded this rod. This is 8mm diameter rod in, and I've welded around the end, so hopefully it's reasonably straight. I've got a pillow block bearing which will go there, and then the rod which pulls the accelerator cable will be welded onto the end. Right, well I'm hoping you can see this. So we've got a bracket there, a great big bolt through that, and then the pedal is there, so I don't need to shorten it at all. I could put my heel here, angle my foot out a touch and press that just fine, and then the cunning bit, the shaft goes across to here. Well, we've got pillow block bearing, if you can see that there. So I may need to shorten that a tiny bit to get the body to come over it, but basically there'll be an arm down there connected to the accelerator cable which will pull it. Be nice if it clamped on and it was adjustable. Maybe, or maybe that's just making things too complicated. I have to think about that. But that's pretty good for today. Pleased with that.